like a daddy Mac. Dan's 30 years got our way, trading life and markets every day. Rusty's chained to the mines, digging deep day by day. But when Option Omega releases new features, he's free to come out and play. Option Omega, you're trading home, where every move makes you feel less alone.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Live from Grandma's house again. Listen, day and Friday, I went to Grandma's house. I said, listen, she wants some company. I said, I'm happy to give you company. She said, do you want me to cook you breakfast? I said, sure. So it's the first Option Mega show where immediately after the show, there's just biscuits and gravy waiting for me.
Oh my goodness. So this will be a short show.
Well, that was Friday. I told her, she wanted the same thing. I said, I can't do it. I can't do that every day, or else I'm not going to be able to come over because of my health, you know? And so
Let me ask you on the bit, not growing up in the South. So if you have biscuits and gravy breakfast, is it just, I don't mean to be ignorant here. Do you just have a biscuit, you pour gravy? Or is there other, tell me the whole, give me a visual.
I was never a biscuit and gravy guy until I got to be an adult. That's what happens a lot with stuff, you know, things you didn't like as a kid, you suddenly realize, well, this is wonderful. The thing about gravy is it's really, really, depending on how they cook it, it's very filling.
Right.
And that's the thing, is you think like a biscuit with like just some gravy on it doesn't feel like a meal. But I mean, they're putting chunks of meat in it, chunks of sausage.
Oh, see, now you're taking it to a whole level. I'm just thinking gravy, growing up in an Irish family, put gravy on the mashed potatoes.
Different gravy. This is a flour based
Sawmill. You're talking sawmill gravy,
yes,
right?
Sawmill gravy. And Matt, I feel like can speak to this. I feel like Matt's cooked some gravy in his life. So Matt,
cooked some gravy. I had sawmill gravy on Saturday. Actually.
So what is it, Matt? What is the secret of sawmill gravy?
It is the most I'm saying this as a northerner. It's the most southern sounding recipe you can make. All it is, it's that white gravy that sometimes has chunks of sausage in it. But all you do to make it, this is crazy. You just take, after you've cooked bacon grease or sausage grease in a pan, you add a little bit of flour, and then you gradually add milk into it and heat it in the pan. And you can add, you know, a lot of times there's a ton of pepper in it, and that's basically it. And
wait, where's the meat coming after? It sounds like a
almost like I think the original idea was that, you know, if you had like a cast iron skillet and you cook some like ground sausage, there's a little ground sausage still left in the pan. You just add some flour, and then you got to add the dairy in. Like the trick is adding the dairy in. Like there's kind of an art in adding the dairy in the right way to make it the consistency.
Yeah, there's a consistency thing, because you can make it way too thin, and people don't realize this, but you can really actually make it way too thick. And there is a happy medium in between there.
I've only attempted to make it maybe 3 times, and you barely use any flour.
No, it's just dust it. You basically dust it.
Yeah, it's grease and milk. Essentially, but it tastes it sounds like this is like some depression level meal. It's incredible. I had it on eggs. I just put it on eggs.
Well,
you don't need very much as well. I mean, it's famous for going on biscuits.
There's a YouTube series where British kids try American food for the first time.
Yes,
and I highly recommend them watching the one where they try biscuits and gravy, because at first they're like scones and gravy. That's disgusting. And they basically what happens with the show is every time they try American food, 9 out of 10 times they're like, this is the greatest thing I've ever tasted.
Yeah. Well, have you had British food?
Yeah. They've only had British food. So
I mean,
Tom with his grits. I don't know in Scotland, do they have
Scottish food's significantly better than
It is. No, I've had, yeah.
Oh,
for
it
sure.
is
But
really.
the Zaxby's, I can't speak to if there's a Zaxby's in Edinburgh or Glasgow, but
I don't
shout out
think
Zaxby's.
Zaxby's is in Scotland. This is I will need a I agree with Romeo. The point of biscuits and gravy is you want like really like a dry, like again, like a day old biscuit or something. I do have an important question for the chat though. Can what is the thesis on why Scottish food is better than English food? Especially the beef. I've had it explained to me it's because of what they feed the beef in Scotland versus England. I don't know if that's true, but maybe the chat can confirm that. Either way, sawmill gravy is it's unique.
Well, there's a way. Shout out Romeo. There's a place when I lived in Nashville. It's world famous. It's called Loveless Cafe. I believe Johnny Cash went there and things like that. It's if Johnny Cash went somewhere, you're now famous. That's the way.
I know.
So, Loveless Cafe. Shout out if you're ever in the Nashville. I don't think it's in the metropolitan area. I think you actually, if I remember correctly, you have to drive a little bit. But so yeah, English food we can all agree is not ideal. What's weird about that though is I will say this: when I visited England, I do like their curry. I like that they've got a curry going.
Well, that's all due to empire.
Well, of course,
this is a whole nother sub.
Wow, but that's what. But of course, but like that's half our food as well.
That's true.
It's due to
but when the first thing you say is I like this, and I'm just saying, listen, we could have a long discussion about this. This is a significant issue. Loveless Cafe, sawmill gravy, the role of empires in changing what cultures eat. This is the kind of stuff that this is what you come to the OO show for.
No, I mean, listen, you could look at a back test or you could hear my thoughts on Chinese food. And,
no, I think we want to hear the thoughts. I'm going to show you guys just when you Google, this is going to, we'll cap off our discussion with this. When you Google Loveless Cafe, it couldn't be more perfect. And that is the gravy right there. That is what I would say is it's probably country fried steak with the gravy on it.
Oh, that's what the gravy looks like. That white. Okay.
Yeah. Now, side note, if you're going to get gravy, I actually highly recommend not doing the biscuit and getting the chicken fried steak.
Yeah. And there's a whole debate as whether it's chicken fried steak or country fried steak, to be honest.
Yeah, it's true.
That's the subject for another show.
Listen, speaking of, the gravy train is here, and the gravy train is here because two things. One more non-gravy train thing, but then the other thing, kind of a gravy train thing. I sound insane. I recognize what I'm saying right now. It was 14 degrees last night, Fahrenheit, in Knoxville, Tennessee. And what do you do when it's 14 degrees? You immediately go with your boys and you get in the hot tub.
Oh my gosh. Outside?
Oh yeah.
So you have an outside? I didn't know you had.
I don't have a hot tub. My friend has a wonderful hot tub. I texted my friend yesterday morning. We knew it was going to be cold and said, "Hey, it's go time." He said, "Agree, strong agree." So we got out there last night. We got out there last night. That's a fun experience. I don't know if you've ever been in a hot tub when it's sub-freezing, very sub-freezing. It's fun because you're warm. You're not ever cold when you're in the hot tub. Obviously, it feels warm. But our hair was legitimately freezing. So we had icicles. My beard was frozen. It was a very fun experience.
Yeah.
And it felt like a Viking for a second.
That's neat. Yeah.
Well, we should chat. Is anybody having strange weather? Because just not to make the show completely Amerocentric, but my kids are on a cold delay today, which it's negative 20 wind chill here.
Oh my.
And when you look at it's 6 degrees right now. Okay. But when you look at the forecast, again, these are in freedom units, Fahrenheit. And when you look at the forecast, do you know what the temperature is going to be tomorrow?
No.
It's not going to go the way you think.
60.
It's going to be 40 tomorrow. Troy, you're not far off. It's going to be 53 degrees on Thursday.
Same in Knoxville. That's the same weather pattern we got going on here.
And I had a friend say, how was the weekend? This friend who's known to OO said, my wife is sick. I'm like, oh, is this because of this crazy weather? Because 50 degree swings in 2 days or whatever. That's like, we had 6 inches of snow on the ground, and it's going to be 53 on Thursday. What?
Yeah.
We haven't even picked up all our leaves yet. We got our front yard done, which is more than most people in the neighborhood, because now they're all mushed and whatever.
So you leapfrogged over fall into winter.
We've had 3 seasons. We're going to have 3 seasons in the span of a week. So in the span of 3 days.
I love it.
It's like a DC. It can go from one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
And you have to be ready to ride that DC. I mean, condors as well, to be fair. I don't ever hear people talk about that with condors, probably because when they go from one extreme to another, they get stopped out.
Can I say one thing real quick?
Yeah.
You got me on just before we go to the back test, a quick postmortem on the FOMC, because there will be another FOMC and another and another.
Oh, yeah. Let's hit it, Dan.
And I just think I'm going to hopefully do a on the modeling, do a little webinar this weekend on long gamma. And I just think, when you look at this thing called FOMC, it's really a 3-day festival, and it could have remnants coming in a little bit after on Monday, but it's a 3-day festival. Because if you look at the SPX from Wednesday at 2:00 when the party started, and then till the close on Friday, you'd say nothing. But if you look in between on that, you had a little visit up to the, what was it, 6,900 on the upside?
Yes. Yeah, we got to 6,900.
Yeah, up to 6,900.
Close to all-time highs.
I've got here Wednesday at 1:55 Eastern. It was like 68.39. And then we went up to the 69. Then we came all the way back to 6,800. So, but the thing I want to talk about when I do a modeling thing, it's not just people think long gamma, like, okay, the reverse iron condor is long gamma. And for people who don't know, that just means you get long deltas on the way up, short on the way down. So you don't have to predict the direction. It just has to move from where you put it on, right? The negative thing is, say negative theta. But what I'm going to talk about with the positive gamma is a different concept. And I don't know exactly, trying to give an idea for back testing. The fact that with positive gamma, we used to do we could say trading pits early Monday morning, can't we, guys? We can start the festivities.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Absolutely.
In the pits, we didn't just let it, okay, your long gamma, it moves, and you try to get your money. You would trade both ways, because if you get long deltas on the way up, you could sell out your long deltas. Now, you could say the thing is, if you sell out your long deltas and it keeps going. But in terms of testing, looking at reverse iron condors and saying, hey, we go up, you make X amount as we go up, you could sell out one side, leave the other side. And there's more than one FOMC where you've had 2 good swings. So I think the positive gamma, be it a RIC or a ratio back spread, which is more in a portfolio margin account, there's other ways to do it. But I think looking, not that you can't, I know like different people might look at, okay, I'll look at the Wednesday, that was the Fed thing. I'll look at that day and then the next day, but it is kind of a 3-day thing. And I just think because we're going to have FOMC every month, right? It keeps going. I think as far as the back testing and stuff, I think you can, seeing different things to take advantage of that a little better. But I think those reverse iron condors have consistently been good with the FOMCs.
Yeah.
And how to implement it. And the nice thing with the data, you can go back, because like this week we have Tuesday and Thursday some decent news. But again, I marvel at the fact I'll ask people, I'll say, students will say, yeah, I'm not going to trade this week. I say, FO or, PPI or CPI. And I say, well, do you remember what it did the last 3? No. Well, I mean, how do you say that? You can't rely on your memory. And that's the nice thing. You can literally set up back tests, right, guys, to just focus on that FOMC type thing for the last X amount.
You can get all the dates. Yeah,
so
for sure.
Anyways,
I think that's exactly right. One thing I will go ahead, Dan.
No, I was just going to say, and the VIX, the other big story was just the VIX. Never any fear in this thing, right? I think when we were down the most on the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, what was that? Friday we were down the most, or Thursday? Friday. I don't think VIX got over 17.5, did it?
No, I mean, it jumped a little bit because it was sub 15, I think. But I mean,
yeah, right.
Relatively speaking, not at all. The thing that's interesting to me, the market profile stuff, this is where I'm going to make a guess for the end of the year, not a number, but necessarily direction. And I have a feeling that Friday, they have a theory in market profile that sometimes you have to have a sell-off to strengthen the market. And sometimes you have to have a lot of buying to weaken the market. And I think that was I think Friday was a situation where people reverted to the bottom of the range that we've been in, and it held. And my theory is that probably brought in some like fresh money, this buying, that people who were skittish closed their shorts and their longs. That's and therefore it like strengthens the market. You get fresh money. That's my theory. I could completely be wrong. We could close down 130 points today. And
wasn't that like the 21 EMA, or there was like support, right? It didn't right.
Yeah, and just the range. I mean, we've just been in this 6,900, 6,800 range, for a while now. And so you kind of look at it and say, we could just stay in the range forever, but we kind of know that's not going to happen. And usually howdy ranges in the long run, we know it's going to go over 6,900 eventually.
Yeah.
And so it is what it is. Listen, I've got a test that kind of points to that the markets just go up. And I want to look at it now, but I want to show you something interesting. Come with me and you'll be in the world of
Full version has to be on the Christmas variety show.
If you want to,
oh my gosh, a duet. Yes.
I was thinking of one more week, 7 days until the greatest 4-hour Christmas party you've ever been a part of.
Troy, what's the date again? What's the date?
Second, a week from today.
Okay, a week from today.
All right. 12 to 4. And we're going to have special guests. We're going to have some crazy announcements. We're going to have some fun stuff. I will say, because we have so many new people in the last year, big year for OO, how this works is you got to DM me your tests. You got to put the tests out there. So if you trades of the year, if you think that a back test really did well this year that you want to look at and kind of submit, don't be ashamed. You can make it anonymous for you. I don't care what you want to do. If you want the glory, that's fine. But send us the test because we don't know without it. Otherwise, we'll have to come up with tests, and then the whole show would still be like, well, these guys suck. Like, I had tests. They're much better than that. Like, maybe you did. Should have sent them. So please send them to me. DM me in Discord or email, troy.mcneil@optionomega.com. You can do that. We look forward to seeing those tests, and there'll be some prizes for the people who have the best test. What is the best test criteria? It's all subjective. So it's up to us, but we'll figure it out together. So Matt, Dan, anything you want to say to that? What songs you want?
No.
The only thing I'm gonna be just patiently encouraging you guys. I would love to hear you, Matt and Rusty, do Feliz Navidad by Jose Feliciano at with that fervor, though. I mean, what Jose, when he plays that guitar, it's with fervor.
Yeah.
But you got to know a little Spanish. Any of you three know?
I feel like Matt knows the most.
Oh, Matt knows Spanish, so he could do. Wow, see, you got to have that Spanish part to it. Okay.
I'll just do the "Wish You a Merry Christmas" part.
Yeah.
And then he can do the
400 times during the song.
That's right. Yeah. So, all right, listen. I've got a calendar I want to show you. I'm looking for. I've got a calendar, and I want to show you this calendar. This calendar is a call calendar only. Okay. I had an epiphany the other day. I said, what happens if we just didn't have the put side at all and we just had the call side? What would happen? Well, this is what would happen. This is a call calendar, and it's a multiple entry call calendar. It's a MEC.
A MEC.
MEC. So it's a MECC. And it's put on throughout the day. The only criteria is that if we're above the 50 delta SMA, if we're about 50 delta, 50-day SMA, if we're above the 50-day SMA, you get a call calendar. That's how it works. And so I think it's interesting. I think it's an interesting test. I'm going to share this test right now with you because I think you guys can no doubt make it better. Here's the nice thing we got going for us in this test. This test, I'm not worried about people filtering because we have 7,500 data points.
That's crazy.
So if you get to 2,000 data points, I'm fine with that. I'm okay with it. Now, if you get it to 200, think about your life and make better decisions. But anything above 200, I think, is game at this point. But you're indiscriminately, like every time we check every 30 minutes, basically, 10 o'clock to 3:30. And any time during that day that we are above the 50-day SMA, we're going to do a 21-28 call calendar in the queues. What is the exit criteria? The only exit criteria is 0 day. Take it off at 2:45. Now, fellas, this is crazy to me. And I want to show you one thing before we go into all of this. But before I do that, I want to ask you, what do you think of this test?
Can I just say real quick, this is a 21-28, but you're taking it off 0.
You're taking it 21 days in. You're taking it off on that the shorts 0 day, the shorts expiration.
Oh, the shorts. Oh, so you're holding it 21 days.
Yeah. Yep. You're holding it 21 days. It's a ride or die, as they say, except for the exit point. You get out. And as you can see, it definitely has drawdowns as it stands. But I'll go ahead and give you my secret. If you look at something that's happened this year that has made it look, basically your drawdown happened in 2022. So think about real quick, just from a mind map situation.
Mm-hmm.
You had 2022 is your biggest drawdown. Well, what goes on during 2022? The market, probably every time it dipped above the 50-day SMA in 2022, it got smashed. That's probably my guess. In 2022, trading in 2022, that's what seemed to happen, is every day it got above where it should be, it got smashed. So you just lost a bunch. Now, I will go back to this year and run this year to date. And a lot of you, I think, and myself included, would have been really, really happy with this return or result on a one lot that you're doing a bunch of times, obviously. So it's not really a one lot.
So how many, Troy, would you say on average is it putting on a day to get that 2,000 trades?
Well, there's probably days where it puts 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's probably days where it puts 12 of these on. right?
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot. So this year has worked out really well for this trade, but we have the data to show there's years where it doesn't work out as well. So Matt, Dan, I mean, just buy a call. The market just goes up.
So this is super interesting. I'm struggling to find words because I have so many things to say. I'll keep it short. There's no rails, there's no filters, and to your point, it's pretty interesting because it's a one lot, but it's the potential of doing a lot of one lots a day, which is a way of position sizing. Which again, I mean, there's people who I think QDCs are getting. More people are realizing that they're an option because even with 2 or 3 cent slippage, there's enough juice in QDCs that there's some really interesting trades. This is super interesting.
Well, what's QDC, Matt?
QQQD, running DCs on Qs instead of
I'm going to do this.
SPX.
I'm going to show you this too, just because I want to remove some of the ambiguity of this.
Yeah.
Just do 12 hourly, right? And take it to the next minute to where it's not just that, right? Just to show you kind of the flavor of this, lest people be like, well, this thing is completely bonkers, and it's only set up in this one way and magic minute and all that stuff.
I think this is the opposite of a magic minute is my guess.
Yeah, we'll see. Let the test run. But I mean, my theory is that it's not a magic minute. I've done a little bit of testing with this. And so now we're running a lot of trades, even in a year. So it might take a minute. But
it's going to take forever.
Yeah.
It's a boatload of trades.
It's a boatload of trades, as they say. But
Troy, do you remember what kind of debit was a typical one lot on there?
I think about 150 to 180.
All right, so small account, definitely.
It's small account. It's small account, except for you're actually putting a lot of them on.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things in a small account, you actually have to limit this even more. So we got it down. I mean, this is kind of my point. We took it down from, let's look at this real quick. We took it down from 2,000 trades to 1,000 trades. And the MAR, the MAR, I mean, obviously 6.9 is higher than 6.1, but 6.1 is a very good MAR. My point, and we changed the minute. Kind of my point is this does seem like it has validity, at least this year. This year,
yeah,
just buy a call calendar above the 50 and let it go has kind of worked.
And look at the win rate. That's a decent.
Yeah, 67%. Right, for 21 day. I mean, basically, really just sticking it on there. Now, what happens in this that's super interesting is inevitably you'll get clusters, right? So there'll be sets that you're losing. That's how it's going to look. The whole trade log, a group of winners, a group of losers, a group of winners, a group of losers. Why? I mean, look at that right there. Just multiple. You're going to get that. And so, but then you're going to get this. You're going to get ones where it's just basically page after page of winners, right? That's this type of trade. So I want to say up front, I don't know if a lot of people could handle that. I don't know if a lot of people could have 40 losers.
Yeah.
And be like, cool.
I don't think I could.
So,
but in a way, if you think about it, what you're doing is, you're sizing up, you're just tranching it out and doing it as a mech instead of just one entry at a 5% allocation or whatever.
Yeah. And Matt and Troy, how would you tweak it for a small account? They still want to feel the multiple trades like you guys did. Would you limit them to maybe 3 or 4? How would you do that?
Well, this is what I would do at first is I would say, we're going to run this at one time.
Okay.
And we're just going to see what happens if we just run this once a day.
Once a day. Okay.
Rather than, multiple times a day. Well, okay. So this strategy and martingaling should never be used in the same sentence, Tom. I mean, this kind of proves the point in some ways. This is super interesting to me. Just do a one lot. You've taken it down from 1,000 to 167, and it's still a 4.3 MAR this year.
And the win percentage didn't come down that much.
No, the win input, and you could check time. I mean, you could also just float this. I mean, that would be you could say basically the first chance we get where it's above 50, put this on, and probably your results are going to be similar this year.
Yeah, I would think so.
So this is what do you take away from this? Well, first off, I think you guys could improve on this. I think more importantly, I think it would be interesting to see how you think you could improve on it. Not to get the MAR higher, but what do you from a realistic standpoint of would you trade this? That's how would you do it if you were actually going to trade it? Because it does pose some interesting problems. But aside from the specifics of the strategy, I hit this one last week, and I was sitting on it for a couple of days because I was like, it kind of is shameful to me sometimes that I can forget that the market does just go up. Dan, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just the market just goes up. It's a dumb strategy.
It does. I wish, Troy, that there, and again, the idea I was thinking in my head was, okay, how can you, yes, the market goes up more than that, but could you at select times, okay, you're doing the call, but selectively, right? And I'm not sure what that selective would be at a put side. So selectively turn it into a DC.
Yeah.
Maybe not as often, but what would be the trigger to add the put side? Because when we're going up, even in an up market, crazy, market does go down, right? Market does come back some. And I know with the interesting thing is, like in SPX, generally you can go with a single calendar like this.
Yeah.
And you can post it, you can do it 30 points under the market in SPX and still be relatively neutral.
Yeah.
35 points under the market, relatively neutral on a calendar. So I don't know how would you leg it into a DC only at certain conditions are met and have that put side? Because then it would be, now you're saying, okay, before these calendars exit at a certain point, maybe when they're up, I don't know, 50, 60, whatever percent, you whip on a put side. But I think that would be worth testing. Have you ever, Matt or Troy, done something to start with one side and leg into a DC, or have you always just done the straight DC?
The hard thing of it, Dan, is if you go, because I've tested this a little bit, and I think it probably works. I mean, this is the way I want it to work. But what happens, I think, is a lot of times if you go up high enough before you put that put calendar on, your width is so wide by that point. And it's like a DC that's like really close to the money at the call side, but then far away from the put side.
That's right. Yeah.
And so you kind of have to, but to your point, I do think the idea of like, one thing I would immediately test if you wanted to do that was put another test on where you put a put calendar on if we dip below the 50-day SMA.
Yeah.
Oh, to trigger put. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
So if you're above it, just do call calendars. Once you're below it, put a put calendar on.
And you could do, and the downside, couldn't you also do like on the upside, it's unlimited, just keep whipping them on, right?
Yeah.
On the downside, would it be similar, or you can limit the amount if you still want to stay?
Yeah, you wouldn't have
that long delta theme on the DC.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to do the multiple entry at all, I don't think.
Interesting.
Or you could do one where it's like you open an actual DC under 50. So now you have two. It's like a poor man's covered call double calendar where it's like you start with one call calendar, we dip below, you put a DC on. Well, now you've got two call calendars to your one put calendar.
Endless ideas.
Well, it's some people call it a wonderful product that's changed their lives. Some people call it an addiction that's changed their lives. But sometimes both are true.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll look at that this week. We'll test some different stuff. But going into what is inevitably, because I'm long Vega, a Santa Claus rally for the next
right.
Might
Yeah,
as well look at,
futures check. We're up 40.
yeah, I'm up 40. Might as well look
Okay.
at some fun upside things to do. I'll tell you the other thing I like about that one. It does force you to play the long game a little bit more in the market. If you're putting
Humbug.
a 21, 28,
Humbug.
yeah, well, if you're putting a 21-28 on, you're basically saying like, for the next month, I just assume we're going to go up.
Yeah.
I mean, really, you think about that. Like, well, you get 12 of those cycles in a year. I mean, that's kind of how that stuff works. And so, you know, what are we up this year? I mean, that's the thing. What are we up?
16. Oh, in Qs, you mean?
Well, yeah, either one. Really.
Qs, we were up over 20 the last time I looked, which was I think at all-time high. I'll look real
SPX
quick.
16, 17, somewhere around.
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look at January 1st.
Qs year to date were at 20%.
Look at where the Qs were. You know, look where the Qs are going to be in January 1st, and then just add 20% to it. That's a realistic. I mean, the last 5 years,
Crazy.
it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy, you know.
And with the 30 delta, what I like about it, you're long, which is one of your principles for trades. You're long delta, long vega, because your
Yep.
30 delta calls, and then you can handle the vol coming down.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's a great. I like it. Try. I mean, and again, even as one other thing, could you have it as a throw it in your portfolio, right, to give you a little bit of that long delta, right? So if you did you try throwing this in with your current portfolio of DCs and see did it improve it or?
Well, no, not yet. I haven't gone that far, but we will this week. Now, listen. One side note before we go, I'm an idiot because we had a huge feature release Friday.
Huh.
And I didn't even show it today, which is so stupid.
Let's save it for tomorrow.
Well, no, we'll save it for tomorrow. But let me just say this real quick. It'd be nice to know kind of vol what this is looking like, right? Well, if you have backtesting plus modeling at Option Omega, or you have automation, click that little guy, model this test. Bam.
Before you put the trade on.
Before you put the trade on, you can see what it is, right? And so, yep, that's what a call calendar looks like. That's kind of what we're expecting. We're expecting it just to kind of grind up. That's what we want, you know? So it is an interesting idea to be long deltas and long vega. It's something that most people aren't. So
hey, Troy, let me ask you, that doesn't look like, so that's a diagonal. Sometimes it picks up a diagonal, sometimes a calendar.
If I don't have exact strike offsets.
And I don't. So you might get a little you might get a little diagonal. You might get a little calendar at times.
Yep. Yeah. Which I kind of like personally. Sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got some trades that I really don't care if it's diagonal.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'll put them on there. But anyway, well, listen, we'll play around with that more. I think that's fun, guys. Listen, honestly, that's one of my favorite features we've ever done. I mean, I don't want to downplay it. Like, I think that's super useful, and to be able to backtest something and then see what it looks like from a learning perspective is a huge thing that I'm going to use every day. I hope you guys use.
Well, how often, Matt and Troy, do you're in the middle of backtesting and you get stuck, right? You can't get it going. And I think having a visual up there might give you a little freshener, like, okay, whoa, I didn't realize the Greeks were this, or I didn't realize this.
That's exactly right.
So I think it'll be a big help.
No, I mean, you look at this idea and it's like, I'm going to test one delta double calendars, and no one's ever thought about this. And then you look at a graph and you're like, oh, that's why no one's ever
thought about it. That's why no one's thought about it.
Anyway, listen, lots to do. Shout out to Rusty as always. Great feature. And looking forward to next Christmas party. But before that, we got a bunch of shows ahead of us. So we'll see you tomorrow. I'm dead serious. DM me some tests. Don't be shy. It's going to be awesome. So